Welcome back to Crunchy Mom and Doubting Dad, episode 50.
Yes. We should have been teaching people sign language this whole time. We could have gone
50.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. We could have taught people all the way through 50.
We can start now.
Yeah, whatever. This is 50.
50. We got about 2 minutes into recording this episode, and then I started laughing, and my husband looked at me, and I said, we have to stop and start over. And he goes, for what purpose? And I said, because we're not mic'd. Gotta remember the microphones.
Son of an F, I said.
He did.
Start over again. We're not doing well with the video. We've done, like, what was it, 46 Spotify ones? Where we just did audio only, and we never had, like, any issues. I don't think we ever even redid one or edited one or nothing. Just sit down and talk. How's mine look? I just got back from work.
Fantastic.
Got home from work. Okay.
Today we are talking about Botox.
For the big 50th.
For the big 50th episode.
For the Over the Hill podcast.
For women that think that they need Botox because wrinkles are not a natural progression of aging.
You know there's a bunch of men that do it, which is why, like, all these dentist offices and, like, all these random places, you know. I mean, it's at some point.
Salons are doing Botox now.
Salons. Walgreens will start doing it. CVS, there'll be, like, a hidden back room in the sports bar. You know there's a lot of men doing it because why would you do it in these random places? You know what I mean? I think it's because men don't want to be seen doing the Botox. Just throwing it out there.
I wasn't going to leave men out of it. It's men and women. Again, plays into our vanity for sure. You'll never change my mind on that. But we were heavily discussing very passionately because I'm like, dude, it's not natural. And Jeff's like, but it is natural. And I said,
I'm just saying it's a natural product. I mean, dog shit's natural. I don't want to inject it into my skin to give it a more youthful appearance. But I just wanted to, whatever. We had this discussion 4 minutes ago.
We did. But we wanted kind of to discuss what people use Botox for, because the big push for marketing and media stuff is, oh my gosh, you have to have Botox when you reach a certain age because it gets rid of your wrinkles, and God forbid somebody has a wrinkle on their forehead, right?
Or crow's feet.
Oh, yeah, that
get rid of those crow's feet.
Whatever, I'm perfectly fine with all that.
Dude, the older I get, like super thin skin right here.
Baggy eyes.
Okay, I have baggy eyes.
No, I just
said that my skin was super thin, and you just went to baggy eyes. Do I have baggy eyes?
No, you don't.
Yeah, I do. Now I need Botox. Now I'm super self-conscious, and now I have to look better. So, why would you say I have baggy eyes when I just talked about the older I get, my skin's getting thinner right here is what I'm saying.
Wow.
I literally bled trying to get an eyelash off of this part of
making my eyeballs hurt.
Eyelid right here.
Stop it. I'm not talking about eyes.
That's
my insulin pump.
Well, we're live, Katie.
I know. I have to change my pump tonight, so there's that. Anyway.
Okay, so Botox, 50th silver anniversary. Congratulations on all the podcasts, Katie. It's been an honor to do them with you. 50 and out.
I've never, actually looked into side effects, all this mumbo-jumbo of trendy, because I think Botox is just a trend that women
It's been going strong for 20 years.
Yeah, well, it's not a good trend. But I did some research and looked some stuff up, and I did not know this, but Botox is derived, and yes, I'm reading from my notes because I'm not going to be able to say these words, and I'm sure as heck not going to be able to remember them. It's derived from a neurotoxin that is produced by Clostridium botulinum.
Baba Booey. Baba Booey.
The boogeyman.
Baba Booey.
And the scientific term for Botox is Anabotulium toxin A.
That sounds like something you yell before you go into battle. When you're horribly outnumbered. You know what I mean? Say it again. Say it again, but say it with the mentality that there's 10 of you and 1,000 of them.
Anabotulium toxin A.
Oh, yeah. That's exactly what it sounds like. I want that tattooed on my chest now.
Tattoos, we'll get into that toxicity.
Oh, yeah, I can't get any more tattoos.
No more tattoos.
I have 9.
I think you have 7.
7? Do I? Is that all
Are
I
you
have?
counting them now?
No, I haven't counted them ever. I get words put on my body.
He does.
I don't have the barbed wire around the old bicep. Didn't fall for that one.
I don't like
or
that
the calf
one.
tattoo, like you said. I'm with you though. Calf tattoos are weird.
So
Jackson
anyway,
has been out there adjusting. I'm sorry, I keep looking.
Oh
over
my
there,
gosh, can you
but Jackson
focus,
has
please?
been out there adjusting Lucas's shorts for like the last 5 minutes because every time he runs, his shorts fall down. So Jackson's playing the big brother / dad parent out there adjusting his shorts.
well, it's beautiful here in Oklahoma right now. We've had like cool mornings, and you can actually step out and like take a full deep breath and not get choked out by humidity.
Yep.
It's been fantastic. So we were like, y'all are going outside while we do this podcast. Have fun. Go practice football. So that was all new to me. And I'm 100% against anything, even if it's derived from certain natural things.
Like a bacteria.
Yeah.
You don't want to inject bacteria in your body, I wouldn't think, but you do.
People do.
Botox.
I understand that some of the benefits for Botox help people with an overactive bladder. Jeff and I both read that it's great for people that suffer from migraines.
Cross-eyed,
Yes, you did read about that.
which makes sense. I mean, it relaxes or prevents the muscle from spasming or
Right.
moving, technically.
Some of the side effects were dry skin, heart issues, vision issues. Surprisingly enough, it helps an overactive bladder, but that can also be a cause of getting Botox.
Yeah.
So I'm like, okay, well, that kind of defeats the purpose. So what, you're taking a 50-50 chance to, I don't know, see if it helps. But again, I go back to what is the root cause of these problems, right? Like, if we were using better products, would you get the wrinkles that you're getting as you're supposed to be aging? There's so many toxins and bad chemicals in the products that we've talked about for the last 50 episodes in regards to lotions, face washes, the soaps we're using. Those are all taking an effect on our bodies as well, and they're not always great for us. So for me, and going down the natural path side of things, I'm like, well, why don't we just switch our products and see how our body does with natural products that are actually healing and helping our body. I look at Botox as it's a means to an end. It's a masking agent. So you go and you take Tylenol and it masks your symptoms. It doesn't heal your symptoms. And 8 hours later, you're like, great, my headache finally went away. But why did you get the headache? So you are taking Botox to, again, mask a symptom, but you're not getting to the root cause because you've got a dentist or some woman who got certified in a hair salon to inject you with some Botox, and you're like, sweet, it's going to take care of it and I'm good to go. Yeah. My thought process on things were, okay, when I did some research, you found out that Botox doesn't last forever. Like, you have to get multiple injections. Well, I kept thinking about women that I know that get Botox and you're putting it in your forehead, like, because you don't want the wrinkles here, or you don't want the wrinkles here. You don't want the wrinkles here in your eyes. And you're doing that over and over and over again. And then when I read about how it's a neurotoxin and like its purpose is to, hold on, let me read this correctly because I can't remember everything. There's a lot of information. It prevents your muscle from moving and contracting the way it should. I'm sorry, but I think that's a problem. Like, God made your muscles to move and contract for certain reasons, and I guess I just don't have, like, there's certain things, like, I want to look a certain way, but I'm not so vain that I'm going to go and put a freaking neurotoxin in my forehead.
It disrupts how your electrical signal in your body is communicating with your muscles. Like,
yes.
Like a neuron. I mean, I can't remember because I literally had 2 minutes and you had however many months and hours you've done research on this. But I took it like your neurons firing, right? Like an electrical thing between two things, right? It has to have this communication or whatever, and it deadens that communication. It doesn't allow the communication to happen, which I don't know what the long-term side effects of that would be. But yeah, it's probably not good when you're disrupting again how your body's supposed to naturally work. I mean, and again, one time, maybe not a big deal, but over and over and over and over again, and you do it all the time. I mean, heck, there's girls in their 20s that are using Botox. Like, holy crap. For what purpose?
Well, and that's what I thought about too today as we were leading up to going live here, was 10 years ago, I was 28. And I didn't notice wrinkles in my forehead or when I laughed. Like now, if I catch myself in a mirror and I'm laughing really hard, like I see wrinkles on my forehead. But my brain...
they all see it in 4K. There's people out there that are like, oh, we're going to wait for her to laugh, and then they like rewind it and put it in slow motion.
That's fine.
Okay.
But my point is that I thought about that.
At least you don't have baggy eyes.
For crying out loud, I should have never said that to him.
You probably shouldn't have.
You're fine. Stop messing with your eyeballs.
Do you have like a firmer or something, or some type of foundation I need to start using? I'm joking.
You tell me when you're done.
I don't know. I guess
you done? You might not be, folks. But my brain didn't go to, oh my gosh, I need to fix this. I need to get Botox and get rid of my wrinkles. I thought, oh, well, I'm not 28 anymore. I'm 38. But like what Jeff said with 20-year-olds getting Botox, I'm like, dude, there's no need for any woman to get Botox ever, in my opinion. But if you are freaking out about getting older and having a wrinkle, then okay, like get the Botox. But I don't see why anybody under 40 should ever get Botox.
Yeah.
Like, sorry, you shouldn't. Like, if you're taking care of yourself and, you're washing your face with soap and water or the face wash you use, like, holy crap, you don't need to be getting Botox. Like, you are going to be, I know I'm a horrible person, but I tell Jeff this all the time. Like, if God lets me live to be an old woman, it's going to, one, be a privilege, and two, put me next to somebody who's my age exactly, and they've done Botox, and I guarantee you I'm going to look younger because I didn't fill my face with neurotoxins for how many years because I embrace the wrinkles. Like, I'm perfectly fine with it.
Well, what I want to know is, like, so if you, like, spend a lot of time in outer space, right? Like, your muscles will start to atrophy, and like it messes with you when your muscles aren't being used, or somebody's bedridden, or whatever the situation is, right? Like, it's actually super bad for you not to use your muscles. And then I don't know what would happen when you go in every 3 months or every 6 months or whenever it wears off for you. Like, if you go in, or maybe you go more than that, because heaven forbid there would be a crossover day or two where you might have a wrinkle, right? Because I'm sure some women go over the top, and I'm sure they only see the utmost responsible specialists at the dentist office that inject it in your face, right? Because they had a 3-day course in Vegas, half hungover. But yeah, I mean, totally trust your professional to inject that in your skin, next to your eyes and your nerves and your optic nerve. I mean, my gosh, I couldn't imagine if it went wrong, what crazy stuff could happen to you. But my point is like, what happens after you don't use your face? You know what I mean? Because, like, you're restricting them. You're not allowing them to communicate to even work. So why wouldn't they atrophy over time? I'm asking a question. Maybe you don't have the answer, but it's something that it would be something that I would think about. Like, if I didn't use my leg muscles for 3 months, I would think that would have an effect on my body. Not just my leg muscles, but the rest of my body having to overcompensate or whatever, right, to try to make them work. So, I don't know. That's what I think about. I wonder what happens after 20 years of not using your facial muscles. What happens? Well,
there's a woman that I started following, I don't know, a couple months ago, and I don't follow her.
Botox Betty.
Well, she was an avid Botox user, and she's very open about her story. She has never liked how she looks. She has a bigger forehead, and she tells you that. She's like, I hate how big my forehead is. She's like, I've tried different hairstyles. I've tried bangs. I tried swooping bangs. She's like, I just never liked it. And then as I got older and I was looking at my face, she openly tells you, I hated the wrinkles, and now my forehead's bigger than what I've always wanted it to be. So she's like, I thought if I have this huge, and like in her video, she's like, this huge forehead, and it makes everybody laugh, right? She's like, I definitely didn't want wrinkles. So she's like, I started doing Botox. And she said that she did Botox for a year and a half, and her husband had pulled up some pictures, and she was looking at the pictures, and they were pictures before Botox, and she said that she was horrified at the difference that she saw in the pictures of before Botox and after. And she said it made her sick to her stomach because she looked plastic and she looked fake, and there was no emotion in her facial expressions. She's like, I paralyzed myself is the phrasing she used. And she goes, and I hated it. And I never went back after that. And she goes, and now it's been a couple years since she did that 1.5 years of Botox, like religiously, like every time they told her to come back for an appointment, like she was there the day before, because she was like, I can't have wrinkles on my forehead. And she goes, but it took her time, her body time, to flush all of that out. And she's like, now I can feel my forehead again. And she goes, and I look better because I look younger. And she will show you pictures. And I was like, oh my gosh, like Botox does not make you look younger. And I hate the lie that these marketing teams have pushed out. I know Jeff talked about that in the last episode.
They're efficient.
But they are efficient. But she was just really disappointed in herself. She's like, and I had to go and talk to the Lord about it because he made me this way, and I needed to be comfortable with how he made me. And she brought up points that I have brought up the last 2 episodes with breast implants and Botox, which is he fearfully and wonderfully made you the way he did for a reason. And we need to be okay with that, like, and embrace how he made us, because he made us all different for a reason, to do different things. And her story is just really incredible, and I love that she's so honest about it, and that she actually shows you the pictures. Like, here was before Botox, here was during Botox, and here's after. And it's so different that it's crazy. And she is to a point now where you can take the after Botox and the before Botox, and it's like, oh no, she's back. She's back.
I told you the video that somebody did, and it had like the opposite effect, and that's kind of probably why it got shared so much or whatever. But it was like the ladies in this beautician office or whatever, and they're all in their scrubs, and they go around, and it was like the most attractive woman there was like, they were all sharing their number. So it was like 2 numbers, and then you kind of figured out what it was. It was their age and how many Botox treatments they've had or whatever. And there was like 23-year-olds in there that didn't need it, and they looked so fake with fake lip, you know what I mean? Like the whole 9 yards that we talked about in just the previous one or 2 ago, I can't remember. But anyway, and yeah, then they got to like the 40-year-old woman, and she had the least amount of Botox, and she was the most attractive at 40-something years old. She was more attractive than a 20-something-year-old, and she had the least amount. I mean, and again, some of it's genetics. There's going to be women that have like tons of wrinkles on their forehead or whatever. Like, I'm sure that, like you're saying, it's like it sticks to the heart of the person, right? What they're happy with, what they're not happy with, or what insecurities they have, or whatever you want to call it. But I mean, I equate it. I go back to my family, right? And I have 2 older brothers. My middle brother, the one that's 6 years older than me, he had a Bosworth haircut. Bosworth was awesome. He was alive. You know what I mean? Like, he loved Bosworth, so he went and got a Bosworth haircut. If you pull that picture up today, do you think that he's proud that in middle school or freshman year of high school or whenever it was, do you think he's proud that he had a Bosworth haircut? No, he's not proud that he had a Bosworth haircut. If you were to pull up pictures of your mom going dancing in 1981 at the clubs in Portland, do you think she would be proud of her hair? Do you think she would go, oh yes, that was the hairstyle I wanted? Like dripping wet grease with a bunch of little curls, you know what I mean? Or whatever the style was, with like a huge bangs or like, so part of me really wonders, right? Because if you go back to 1981, your mom would be like, oh my gosh, I'm dialed, I'm ready to go hit the club, right? And she would be like just on the nines, right? Like just everything's just perfect. If you went back and asked my brother in 1989 or 1991 or whenever it was, or whenever Bosworth got, you know, and he loved them and wanted to get his haircut, if you asked him like, dude, what do you think of that haircut you just got? He would be like, oh my gosh, I'm so excited. Like, I look so badass. Like, this is so cool. That's what he would say. So you have to wonder, are there women out there that are walking around right now going, I'm so happy with how I look right now. Like, I look incredible. Katie, look at me. I'm laughing so hard. Like, do you honestly think that you're going to look back 10 years from now and not realize how ridiculous you look to the rest of us? And I'm sorry, but fake women with paralyzed faces to me as a man, 43 years old, are not attractive. Now, there's women that I think more attractive women do those type of things because they're trying to hold on to their beauty, right? Yeah. I think less ugly women probably do it because what are they holding on to? I mean, again, that's mean. I don't mean to be mean. I'm just saying the truth, though. But I think more attractive women, or that were attractive in their younger years, are the ones that do and fall for a lot of the marketing for all of the beautician type work to get done. But I'm just throwing it out there that you might look back on photos of you and your, kids at some function or something and be like, oh my gosh, what was I thinking?
Well, that's the thing where I just go back.
I'm not even smiling in the picture, or it's crooked because it went heavy on one side and not the other. Like, it happens all the time. And it may only be 3 or 4 days and then it starts to wear off or whatever, but I've heard horror stories before we even did this podcast, and I didn't research it again or whatever, but there's horror stories of what, you know what I mean? Droopy eyes, droopy faces. I mean, it can mess you up if they don't know what they're doing and they don't put it in the right spot in your skin, or they put too much in one area and it migrates around. They can have some lasting side effects.
Well, that's the other thing it talks about with side effects with Botox, is that it doesn't always stay where they put it. So you could get a Botox injection here and that stuff will seep and leak into another part of your body. And I don't know about y'all, but that terrifies me. I don't want some toxin floating into my body and other places. And the research I've done is that it literally says on some of these websites, if this happens, please seek medical attention immediately. Okay, so you need to go to a doctor immediately. Then what is it actually doing to your body if it's leaking and going somewhere else in your body that you don't want to? What's it going to paralyze next? Is it going to go to my heart? Is it going to give you heart issues? Because that is one of the side effects, is heart issues from Botox. So this is something that I don't recommend anybody to get, male or female, and you should stay far away from it. And when you look at the side effects and everything else in regards to Botox, it really just kind of sickens me that we have establishments in this country, all over this country, that are like, oh yeah, come get your Botox. And like Jeff said, they're at the dentist office now, they're at your doctor's office, they're at salons, they're at beauty parlors, nail places. All these people are going and getting certified because they know
they're all super qualified to do this. That's what I think is really funny.
That was my next point. You're basically just going to a doctor's office and they're showing you how to inject a shot into somebody's face, and they're giving you a piece of paper that says you're certified. Yep. That should be frightening to y'all. It really should. You should not be going to your nail salon and having your nail tech fill you up with Botox. I'm sorry, but you shouldn't. You shouldn't be going to the dentist office, who's supposed to be versed in your oral health, injecting you with Botox. I'm sorry, you'll never change my mind on it. That's just where I'm at with it.
The lady that botched your manicure and gave you staph infection up both of your legs up to your knee, that put you in the hospital for 9 months because she couldn't change out and clean the frickin' water that you put your feet in when they do your pedicure. Those are the people that are now certified.
Yeah,
and
I know.
Putting a deadly bacterium into and under your skin.
Well, this is where I just go to old age again. When I am older, if I get to live that long, I want to look like a grandma, because that is a blessing. That to me shows, holy crap, you have done well. You have raised your family. You've gone through hard years. You've watched your children get married. You've watched them become parents, which I think is going to be a huge honor for Jeff and I someday. You've gone through marriage and happiness and trials and hard times, and you've lived life. And I am sorry, but I don't want to be 65 years old and looking like I'm 40 because I have breast implants, Botox. I am still doing, I might do my makeup the same, I don't know, but I use all natural stuff anyway. You still want to look nice, right? I'm not saying you can't look nice, and I'm not saying not to look nice, but I want to look my age. And I don't want my grandchildren pointing me out in a crowd going, that's my grandma. And having another kid go, that woman with the huge boobs that are up under her chin, you're kidding me. I'm sorry, but I don't. I don't want kids to describe to my grandchildren, your grandma who looks like she's had a bunch of work done on her face. I don't want that. And I get why women do it. I understand what your different reasons for it are, but again, I think you have to think of the long term. And what is this going to do if you're in your 30s and you're getting Botox injections every 4 months? What is it going to do when you are older? And are you going to be able to move your face? Because I don't want to be the grandma that my grandchildren and even my children are making fun of, going, holy crap, Mom, like, you went too far. Like, it's not okay.
Well,
you need to
Botox
stop.
isn't going to stop this from sagging. You know what I mean? Like,
No.
It doesn't stop your skin from aging. You know what I mean?
I've
Like,
seen-
it stops it from maybe having those permanent creases. I mean, I don't know if a camera can pick it up, but you see that line?
Oh, yeah, I do.
Do you have those? See
I
that
don't know.
one? You know what that's
I've
from?
got lines under my neck.
You know what that's from? These lines?
You getting old?
No. When you're a fat baby. When you have wrinkles. Like,
Oh,
you'll
stop
see it.
it.
I'm not joking. You see that line right there? That's what that is. So if you were a fat baby, odds are, or on your thighs or on your forearms or wherever,
Fat babies are healthy babies.
you will have little lines that last 43 years. But that's where my skin creased for however long I was a fat baby. And so you have them. So, but anyway, my point is that had nothing to do with deadening my muscle. It's just a wrinkle up there. So I get how Botox in the long run could prevent you from having permanent whatever lines on your face or whatever. But I agree with you. I think face needs character. Not like, I boxed for 50 years type character, but, some lines and some wrinkles, man. Show the journey you've been on type of thing. I agree with you on that. I think it's less attractive, at least for me. I think it's less attractive because it's fake. You know what I mean? That's like the girl that like holds everything up in position with duct tape and Spanx and everything else, and it's like at some point he's gonna see you naked. You know what I mean? Like you're only hiding it for so long. You know what I mean? Like at some point you're gonna shower together. At some point they're gonna see you. So I don't understand. And I'm not suggesting that you go out all saggy and droopy and popping out of your top or whatever to go pick up a man. But I'm just saying that like if you're single, I never got that. Like why do you go through all the trouble to just have the appearance of? Because you're just lying to yourself. Because when you go home and take all that crap off, when all that wears off, when your husband's company falls on hard time and all of a sudden it's not just frickin' trip after trip after trip to the beauty salon or wherever you go to get all these treatments and injections and all this stuff done, at some point you're going to have to settle back down, look in the mirror and look at yourself for who you are. So, you know what I mean? Like heaven forbid the economy gets any worse or something else happens tragically in this country and you don't have it. Like, oh my gosh, what are you going to do? People are actually going to see the real you. Oh, like a wrinkle in your forehead. Like, I don't know. Like, I just think it's very trivial to worry about stuff like that. Like, there are so many bigger things to worry about and definitely way better things to spend money on. Like guns, ammunition, freeze-dried meals, things of that nature. Argument could be made for gold and silver.
There you go.
But anyway.
No, I just, like I said, my recommendation is to never get Botox. I embrace how I look. It's not perfect, but I also know 70-year-old men and women that are in better shape than I am because they work out and they don't have droopy skin and they don't have the 4 chins, and it's because they take care of themselves.
You're up to 4 already?
3.5.
3.5. That's not bad. Pushing 40, that's not bad.
But my point is that if you take care of yourself, you don't need stuff like this.
I grew a beard to cover up my chins. What? Beards are slimming.
Sometimes.
Yeah.
But anyway, it really does. It does. It comes back to just taking care of yourself. Like my dad, he's going to be 67 in November, and he's in shape. Like he's got a 6-pack. He works out every day, and he's outside and he's active, and he doesn't look like he's 67. Like he doesn't. But again,
no, I'd put him. I would honestly, if I saw your dad out in public, didn't know him, I'd put him at probably the 55 to 60 range. I'd say he probably looks at least 10 years younger than he actually is, if I had to guess.
So I mean, just a little encouragement after I just bashed and probably pissed off a ton of men and women that actively use Botox. But I again think that if you just take care of yourself. There's no need for this
I think
stuff.
you have to have counter marketing to the marketing that's out there. I think you need to have more voices that are out there saying that it's okay to, especially specifically women, right? I mean, I don't think men care. I don't, but I guarantee you there's more men than would admit it that are getting these Botox stuff.
Yeah.
The metrosexual whole trend or whatever in the early 2000s, like it didn't go away.
No,
it's still here. It's just gone underground, and what hasn't gone underground has just become more socially acceptable. But there's men putting makeup on every single day before work, which I think is laughable, but they do. Like there's guys that are, I mean, they're doing the Botox, they're doing this type of stuff. Like it's definitely, they're marketing it to the men one way or another. But I don't think down here in the South there's a lot of men, but talking like cities and stuff like that. But I don't know. I think that you need to have more voices out there telling people to just be happy with who they are, what they look like.
Well, again, a lot of this
focus on
comes
bigger problems that you can fix in your life, like your health and your physical activity and your fitness and things like that. Those are things that you can control, you know, and that will better you in the long run. Not like you said, just mask it. Like, oh yeah, look at me, my face is numb for 3 months. Like that was so. It doesn't mean you'll never have a wrinkle. It doesn't mean you're not going to get a big, what do they call that the old ladies get? It doesn't mean your arm ain't going to flop around underneath there. When you know what I mean? Like you're not preventing anything. Like you're fixating on one thing that you think you can fix, and you're not fixing it. Like you said, you're just masking it. So if you can't fix the whole thing, why bother?
Well, and I think that when you use it so much, it does alter how you look in regards to, let's just use a woman, for example, over a man with, you brought up makeup, right? I think that when you're constantly getting injections, and in my opinion, it looks like it's plastic to me. You have changed the physical appearance of your forehead, and I think that when you go and you add cover up and foundation and you're putting on makeup in the morning, your forehead looks different than mine. Mine's still, like a woman who doesn't have Botox, her forehead looks natural, and it's like, oh, like that lady has some makeup on, but like she's natural.
Yeah.
But if you put me up to a woman that has done Botox for the last 2 years, I 100% believe, because I've seen them, like I always take a double take and I look at the forehead, and then I look like I'm rude, but I do it because I'm like, wait, oh, she uses Botox. Like, I can tell.
Well,
because it
like
does
I said,
look different.
I still would like to line
Looks
up
plastic.
100 men and give you a fully Botox, fake whatever, and give you a natural woman, same age, whatever, both on the scale of attractiveness, right, in the same range. And I guarantee you, I think most men, a majority of men would pick that. So again, it goes back to if it's for the opposite sex, if it's for your husband, and and maybe it's just the women whose husbands, in my opinion, are in the minority on what's attractive and what's not. I don't know, or maybe it's
women
men
literally
that
just do
can't
it for
accept that their
themselves.
wife's got old, or they can't accept that their wife isn't 25 anymore.
Or it's not even the husbands or the boyfriends. It's literally just the woman, because she thinks, because society has lied to her for so many years, that she has to look this way, and it's solely just her thinking, this is what I have to do because I have to look perfect all the time.
Yeah.
And that's a horrible, horrible thing to teach our young women in society, and our daughters and our nieces and our granddaughters. Like, I don't want these young women to grow up thinking that that's okay to do.
Yeah.
Like, it's gotta stop.
It's a risky thing to do, and it may be, 1 in a million or something. But again, like, you want, like, whatever that saying is, like if you had however many M&Ms in a jar, and well, just one's going to kill you. I mean, you're going to go in and reach in and grab it? Of course you wouldn't. You'd be like, well, it'd be stupid. It could be the one on top. I like the blue ones. What, you know what I mean? Like, you could break it all down to where you would say, no, it's definitely not worth the risk. But we take that risk every day in this country. I mean,
we do.
The number, what is it? The number 3 killer of people in America. Like 100,000 people die of fentanyl, right? Overdoses every year in this country, flooding across the border. It's the only place it comes from. And then you have 350, I think, or 370,000 people a year that die due to malpractice. Like, these are the people you put your trust in. Like, do the math, man. Like, if you think it's outrageous, I mean, I don't have my phone because we're recording on it, but I don't know what 100,000 divided by 365 days a year, but that is a ass ton of people every single day that are dying needless deaths. And if you look at how many people die, I'm sure if you break that 370,000 down and to see how many people die from cosmetic surgeries, you know what I mean? Like, it happens. It happens a lot. You don't know you're allergic to this, or the anesthesiologist didn't take into account that. I mean, there's just so many little things, and you think, oh, it's not going to happen to me. It's 1 in a million. Well, yeah, it's 1 in a million, but it's still 300 and some thousand people a year. And when you talk about having a population of 330 million, you know what I mean? It's, dude, your odds year after year after year. I mean, I don't know. I don't think it's worth the risk to look a certain way.
I don't either.
So, but, if you had an honest, like, medical thing or something like migraines, and if it worked for migraines, like, I wouldn't discourage someone from getting treatment. I think migraines are horrible. And I don't know what overactive bladder is. I guess just be close to a bathroom. I don't know. I've never had that either. But I assume that's like men when their prostates get big. You go to the bathroom every 2 hours. And I'm sure that's frustrating or whatever. But still, I wouldn't want to do that. He doesn't care. I've told him twice on camera. They've seen me to shush. And he got mad at me and told me he was winning. And that's fine. I said, you're winning.
He's
and
excited
like,
that he's winning his game. Life with Lucas.
Yeah. Do a whole podcast on Lucas, and by that I mean we'll just sit here and talk, and they can listen to that in the background.
That's life. I completely block it out now.
But we should ask people if they want to learn sign language. We could actually start to do a couple of signs or whatever.
We can do that.
Yeah, I think it'd be cool to share anyway. People might want to learn something. Take 5 seconds to learn a new sign every episode.
And
I don't know what the sign for Botox is.
Oh, jeez.
No?
Jeff.
No.
Anyway, that's all we have for this episode, but we'll be back and maybe with a couple new signs for you all to learn.
Happy
at the start of
50th,
it.
Katie. Happy 50th.
Happy 50th.
From the bottom of my heart.
Episode. Anyway, we'll talk to you later.
Bye.
Bye.